Yeah, and so you always buy knowing what's fueling your property, and it's not you and your amazing ability to run the property as much as you'd love it to be. It's
Susannah Cole, welcome back to Property People. How are you today?
I'm super. I have come in from Barcelona for this. So this was a flight, a hotel last night. This is going to be good fun.
Barcelona is a beautiful place, a warm place, and so
I know.
something has to be significantly exciting to bring you out of that to here.
Pull me away from the beach? Yes.
Exactly.
And it's going to be a brilliant event. I'm going to really enjoy it. Yes.
Just for the people that don't know you, and there won't be that many. And I remember when I got back from Hong Kong in 2015, you were the person that I used to follow on YouTube for catching up on what's going on in the property market.
We've known each other a long time.
We've known each other about, I've known you a little bit longer because I've been following you on YouTube. It's only coming up to 14 years, I think. You have a phenomenal story in terms of you were able to do 500 deals in 5 years.
217 in
4.5 years.
I'm specific.
I knew it was something significant.
It's still not bad. It's around 50 deals a year, every year.
That's it, 50, one a week. I kept on remembering something like that.
And we did 30 JV flips at the same time, so you got to have your systems pretty spot on for that. Otherwise, it will run away with you. Yeah.
And my question to you, though, is what have you been doing over the last 5 years? What's been keeping you busy?
Well,
in the property space.
Okay, in the property. So I'm laughing because I bought myself an apartment in Barcelona, and I live half in Bristol, half in Barcelona, and I do a lot of traveling. Spent the summer in America with Motown. Last year was months in Thailand. So I've been enjoying myself. But in the property space, I've actually flipped over. I'm more angel investing now. So obviously I've got a property portfolio, a pretty significant one, multi-million-pound property portfolio. Runs like clockwork. We're on it like a rocket. We've got an amazing letting team that I work with. So that is a tremendous revenue generator. Of course it is. And I like to keep things top end. And then I've now been angel investing in other people. Now, these are not people I've met yesterday. These are people I've watched, a bit like you watching me, for a number of years. I've seen them go through some difficulties. I've seen how they behave. And then I've been angel investing. Yes.
And this is interesting because I think sometimes people that get into property, they think that it's an overnight 12-month, you're financially free and all this stuff. But the blood, sweat and tears that you went through in those first few years, now you're starting to reap those rewards where you are able to go and live abroad and do those things and then angel invest into other people's projects.
Yes. And everything is location independent, because I was months in Thailand. I was 3 months this summer in Brooklyn. I live in Barcelona, so nothing needs to be location dependent. It's all about relationships. So even my property portfolio is location independent because we have software that makes sure everything is as it should be. But then that key relationship is with my agents. So because they're A-listers. So it still is old school relationship.
Yeah.
But and again with the people I invest in, I've been watching them for quite a long time. And I want them to have had some cock-ups because I want to see how they behave. Do they fall down or do they stand back up and own it and take the flak and then move forward? Those are my guys. Yes.
Because then you know things are going to go wrong.
Yeah, they are.
So how
100%.
do you react to it?
Is the predicator of how you're going to succeed. Just because I know that things went wrong with me, I wouldn't necessarily in the YouTube channel talk about them at the time.
Because you're in the middle of it and it's kind of like, oh my God. But it's good to rear view mirror, reflect.
Yeah.
And nothing's quite as bad as what it seemed in that moment,
never.
right? Especially when you get through it.
There's probably a couple of things that felt it.
I can imagine.
But afterwards, I think it's also really important to share with other people that whilst we're kind of laughing about mistakes, they're speed bumps and you get through them, you get past them and you succeed. And you can't get there without the speed bumps. So just, knock down 7, get up 8 kind of thing. Yes.
And in terms of, we're talking with geography, in your portfolio, I remember
tight.
Bristol.
Yes.
Is it still all predominantly focused in that one spot?
Yes. However, so I am very tightly managed, 1.9 miles outside the city centre, and I have like 1 or 2 properties at 2.3 miles within the city centre radius. But they are very close to a different university.
Right.
Very efficient. It's mainly HMOs. I do have single lets. The week before COVID, we turned all of our Airbnbs into single lets. Well, that was a scramble, but we did it because I like money being paid. And then I have my one heartfelt one. My parents, I'm very lucky, my parents are still with me and they're pretty robust. But my son went to college in Glasgow, so I just bought one for him.
You still got that one?
Yeah.
I remember you were thinking about selling it after you finished and stuff, but you just kept it.
Well, just in case, I don't know.
A bit of a hedge.
Yeah, just in case. And also, just in case, like my parents, they're super fit. We go hill walking, but they're 80 and 82.
Yeah,
so what if they needed support? Well, there's a free house for a couple of support workers. Amazing.
And Glasgow's a major city as well. So,
yes, but the value has not gone up in comparison to Bristol. I mean, Bristol, every single one of my properties has doubled, most have tripled. Some are now heading towards quadrupling.
Bristol's one of the top spots in the country outside of London for capital growth, isn't it?
Yeah. And so you always buy knowing what's fueling your property, and it's not you and your amazing ability to run the property as much as you'd love it to be. It's the economy surrounding the unit.
That really propels it.
Yeah, so if you're buying in a location where they've just shut down the last job supplier, there's nothing that can propel that economy until there's a regeneration, and that take 25 to 30 years. So always buy with good investment. But I've also been chilling, as you know, and I've also been working on my health, as you know.
I absolutely. And before we get to that point, the speed bumps. I remember George Osborne's tax change affected you, and I remember you talking about that. Yeah. And now some time has passed. How has that all unfolded for you? Have you been able to kind of wade through it and come out on the other side?
Yeah, it's expensive. And everybody chooses their own, so I'm not giving you guys advice because I'm going to be really honest, I may be backing the wrong horse. So many people did the limited liability partnership over 3 years and then moved it across to a corporate entity. And actually that's what my accountant would like me to do. And I probably think he's right. However, we do property for freedom. And I may be incorrect, and guys, you can I know how much extra tax I'm paying a year. We're talking 6 figures. Which is not funny, but
because you're paying on revenue there as well, just to be clear as well. So fair.
You can't now deduct your mortgage, although you can then put back in 20% of it. So I looked at that whole scenario, and yes, I would be much better off cash flow wise if I moved it across a limited liability partnership. But what you do then is you crystallize some of the tax within the entity, within the balance sheet. And I looked at that and just thought, if I was the government, what would I do? I would, like a woolen jumper, I would pull that thread. Why would I allow somebody to crystallise a tax owed to the government to stay on a balance sheet and not in the government coffers? Now, I am totally clear for everybody listening that I could be wrong.
Absolutely.
But I am not prepared to be cornered by anybody, including the government. So I'd rather take my freedom, pay more tax, and pay my houses down.
And you're paying your houses down, importantly. I remember that was one of the things that you really had to set your sights on, which I think is actually a really, really good idea, to be honest.
Bite the bullet.
And actually, when I was talking to my old man about it, he was saying that I would do the same. I was saying, if you had this choice or that choice, he said, I'd just pay them down. And that's actually literally what we did with the properties we owned up until 2015. Everything was paid off.
How gorgeous is that?
Yeah, and that had gone up in value as well. So
you're truly free then, aren't you?
That's proper true, because otherwise the bank owns you or the tax man owns you.
Yeah, and then it's ego versus... profit is turnover is ego, profit is king. Yes. But it's a bit of a blow, but
It's just one of the many speed bumps because you also had some health challenges to face, and you faced them with a smile and beat them down.
Yes,
and
through property, because I end up spending over 100 grand on my own care. Just we know our beautiful NHS and the situation. I didn't work for 3.5 years at all. And funded everything. Whatever I needed, I would. So you couldn't have done that if you had a day job, and I may not be alive if I had the day job. Not to be too exaggerating about it, but I think that's highly likely. So property is a bit of a lifesaver.
Property is a lifesaver, and we are at the property and Entrepreneur Summit.
And you're in an amazing chair.
Thank you very much. I chose it myself.
Well, it's looking good.
My Newcastle United is my football team as well, so black and white as well. That's
I'm with
part
you.
of it. Of all the speakers that are going to be speaking today, you're one of them.
Yes.
Who else are you looking forward to seeing?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. And in fact, of course, I have a spreadsheet and I was looking up everybody's social media and I was looking up everybody's YouTube channels. And I think it's a really interesting mix between the kind of competent technical speakers in the morning of technical aspect of property and the panel, and then the afternoon, which is entrepreneurship and social media. And I think that's a really interesting mix. So you've got the OGs like me,
yes,
who've been around for a very long time, technically highly competent. We've got, we're starting out with Richie, aren't we? We've got lots of other ones like that. Yeah. And then we've got the next generation coming through. And so it's less one individual, though Shah Osman will be amazing. All of these, every single speaker is going to be brilliant. But it's the mix. So although I'm a speaker, I'm also going to be sat there absorbing everything as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
So yeah, that mix between the communication and what I'm interested in, particularly in the afternoon with all the social speakers, or the kind of new media speakers, is how they then merge that new media with old school relationships. So note, who did I give my money to when I was just going through all of my treatments? I gave it to people I'd known a long time, I'd watched, I'd observed. Trust. So how is that combo going to be really merged in a way that's super efficient? That's the bit that really interests me, because it's great to get leads, but then how do you turn them into relationships where trust, and you enjoy being with each other? A lot of people say
property is a business, and this is kind of this type of event amalgamates the two nicely together.
Oh, it's a brilliant event.
You've already been on Property People when we did it over Zoom. It was through a post-COVID kind of era. I'd love to get you back and catch up on a long-form format in person, back in the studio. It's great to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Have a great event.
Yes.
And we'll catch up soon.
Okay.